can build it on the floor, which is what I am going to do with the tutorial version. The way that this is a house is that these all connect together. They connect together a little better when they're built on the floor because you don't have to build staircases into them, and you climb up the staircase, or if they're on the floor you just walk straight into them. And in here you can see that we have enough room for loads of beds and chests and all of the other fun things that you might expect from a house. And each one of these is actually 5 individual rooms, and if you wanted to, you could actually customize each different room for an individual task. They don't all have to be bedrooms. But without any further ado, why don't I actually show you how to make this thing, because it's really easy and it's really awesome. So if you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some black wool, some grey wool, some light grey wool, some white wool, some cyan hardened clay, some yellow wool, some red wool, some pink wool, some blue wool, and some black stained glass block. I would highly recommend the black stained glass block. However, you can use other materials to connect the houses together. And by the way, if you like, you can substitute any one of these materials for clay, but I know that some of you may have hard access to it, so most of this is wool. We do use a little bit of cyan hardened clay for highlights, but that actually isn't 100% necessary. Once you have each one of these materials, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, and by the way, this house will roughly, assuming that I've got this right, will fit into a 52 block, that is 52 blocks going from left to right, by an 8 block area, that is 8 blocks going towards the back. So if you like, you can plan this out in your world, just in case you are lacking space. Well, I'm going to begin this build on the very front left hand corner of the area that I've carved out in the world, and I'm going to begin by making the Yellow Ranger helmet. So to begin this, I'm going to start on this corner, and going right, I want to do this sequence of blocks. I want to do 2 yellow, 1 light grey, 2 white wool, 1 light grey, 2 yellow. I'm going to be building up on top of this row. So for the next row, going from left to right, that's how this will work. We want to do 3 yellow wool, 1, 2, 3, then 2 light grey, 3 yellow wool. Then for the next row, I'm going to do 1 black, 1 light grey, 4 black, 1 light grey, 1 yellow. For the next row, I'm going to do 1 light grey, 6 black wool, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 1 light grey. For the next row, I'm going to do a white wool, 6 black wool, 1 white wool. For the next row, I'm going to do 1 light grey, 1 black, 4 yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 black, 1 light grey. For the next row, I'm going to do 3 yellow, 1, 2, 3, 2 white, 3 yellow. And for the final row, I'm going to place a black wool on the ends of the last row, and I'm going to place yellow wool all the way in between to give us something which should look like this. And as you can see, that is the Yellow Ranger's helmet. And once we've done this, we also have to do this to every single helmet, by the way. We want to take each one of the 4 back corners of the yellow helmet, and we want to extend the back 4 corners back, each by 7 blocks, using the yellow wool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we want to do the same with the others, and we also want to connect them together. So we want to extend back all of the corners, and we want to connect them all together. So we want to form a big block shape. We want to essentially form a big cube that looks like this. So that is exactly what we're after. We also have to fill all of this in with yellow wool, except for the top. The tops of the helmets will look like this. We basically want to add a layer of yellow wool inside of the top of the helmet that kind of just adds like an extra square of yellow wool, and later on this will be filled in with glass. Or as a matter of fact, we can even do it now if we so want to. So this will be filled in with glass. However, everywhere else, all of the other sides will be filled in with yellow wool. However, I'm going to do that later on off recording, because otherwise this is going to take a really long time. So that is the yellow helmet taken care of. Let's move on to the black helmet. So if we come all the way down to the bottom front right hand corner of the head, which is here, we want to, from this corner, leave a gap of 3 blocks going right. And by the way, you can shorten this gap, you can elongate this gap, it's up to you, but I'm choosing 3. So I'm going to leave a gap of 3 in the floor, that's 1, 2, 3, and on top of this 4th block, I will begin the Black Ranger's helmet. So I'm going to do, going right, 2 grey wall, 1, 2, 1 light grey, 2 white, 1 light grey, 2 grey wall. For the next row, going from left to right, do 3 dark grey wall, 1, 2, 3, 2 light grey, 3 dark grey. For the next row, do 2 dark grey, then 4 cyan, 2 dark grey. For the next row, do 2 cyan, 1, 2, 4 black wool, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 2 cyan. For the next row, do a cyan, then 6 black wool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 1 cyan. Then do a 3 black wool, 1, 2, 3, then 2 dark grey, 3 black wool, 1, 2, 3. Then for the next row, do 2 dark grey, 1, 2, 4 cyan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 dark grey. And for the final row, place a dark grey wool on the ends of the row with cyan hardened clay all the way in between. So we want to have something which should look like this. That's perfect. And once we've done that, we want to do a very similar thing to what we did to the Yellow Ranger helmet. So we'll take each one of the 4 back corners and we'll extend them back by the colour of the helmet. So this one is dark grey or black, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we want to do that to every single other one, and we also want to connect them together. So instead of counting that out all of those times, I've taken that first row and I'm making a square out of it, and then I'm going to connect the 2 remaining corners to the front of the helmet, just because I find it a little bit easier to work this way, like that. Now, I'm going to shorten the area that we have at the top of the head. I'm going to add a square of dark grey inside the top of the head, as you can see, and I'm going to fill the center of it in using black stained glass paint. So, we now, well, it's not black stained glass paint, is it? That's silly, but black stained glass block, and we now have the same as we do with the Yellow Ranger. Now, once that's taken care of, we will be filling the rest of those in later, by the way. I'm going to now move on to the next helmet, which is, of course, Mr. Red, the leader. So, if we start with the front bottom right-hand corner of the helmet, which is here, we leave a gap of 3 in the ground, like this, and then on top of this 4th block, so that's 1, 2, 3, and on top of this 4th block, we want to do going right, 2 red wool, then 1 light grey, 2 white wool, 1 light grey, 2 red wool. Then for the next row, do 3 red wool, 1, 2, 3, then 2 light grey, 3 red wool, 1, 2, 3. Then for the next row, do 1 red wool, 6 white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 1 red. Then for the next row, place a white wool on the end blocks, and then place black wool in between, like that. Then for the next row, do an entire row of black wool. Then, for the next row, going from left to right, place 1 black, 1 light grey, 4 white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 light grey, 1 black. For the next row, do 2 white wool, 4 red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 white wool. And for the final row, place an entire row of red wool. So, we'll end up with something that should look exactly like this. Perfect. Now, we're going to take each one of the backs of the 4 corners and we're going to extend them backwards each by 7 using the red wool. We've done this 2 times already, so that's why I'm not doing any counting. And we're going to extend them all backwards and we will connect each one of the 4 corner blocks together in the same fashion that we've done 2 times already, except this time, as of course, we're using the red wool, like this. I'm also going to place a layer of red going all the way around the top of the inside of the Red Ranger's helmet for obvious reasons, using red. And I'm going to place a layer of glass inside here as well. I like black glass. You can, if you want, color code the glass. So if you wanted, you could use yellow glass for yellow, red glass for red, black glass for black, whatever you like. But that is fundamentally the Red Ranger's helmet. Now we only have 2 left, and the next one is going to be the Pink Ranger. So if we come all the way down to the bottom front right hand corner of the Red Ranger's helmet, if we leave a gap of 3 going right, 1, 2, 3, and on top of this 4th block, we're going to place a row of 2 pink wool going right. So that's 1, 2. Then we're going to place a light grey wool, 2 white, 1 light grey, 2 pink. For the next row, going from left to right, we're going to do 3 pink, 1, 2, 3. Then 2 light grey, 3 pink, 1, 2, 3. For the next row, we're going to do 1 cyan hardened clay, 6 black, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 cyan. For the next 2 rows, we want to do 1 cyan, 2 black, 2 pink, 2 black, 1 cyan. And that is for 2 rows, as I said, so just copy that row directly onto the next one, like this. Then, for the row after that, going from left to right, do 2 black wool, 4 pink, 2 black wool. Then for the final 2 rows, do 2 solid rows of pink, so that'll look like 1, 2, and 1, 2, like this. Now, once you've got that sorted out, if we come all the way around to the back of the helmet, and we take each one of the 4 corners, and we extend them backwards, each by 7, and we connect them together, then we will have the exact same thing as we did with all of the other 4 Ranger helmets. So, once again, you want to extend it back until it's in line with all of the other helmets, connect everything together like this, and also add the exact same square of pink in the top of the helmet. So like this, add all the square of pink like that, and fill the top of this in using a black stained glass block. So fill all of this in using black stained glass block like this, and you should end up with the exact same thing that we've done a few times already. The Pink Ranger helmet actually looks very different from all of the others. Looks a little bit more simple, kind of like a bug. There you go. Take the front bottom right hand corner of the Pink Ranger's helmet, leave a gap of 3 going right, so that's 1, 2, 3, and on top of this 4th block, we'll actually need another material. We need to grab our blue, because we got rid of it earlier for the glass, and going right, we want to do 2 blue wool, 1, 2. Then do a light grey wool, 2 white, 1 light grey, 2 blue. For the next row, do 3 blue, 1, 2, 3, then 2 grey, 3 blue. For the next row, do an entire row of blue. Then do 2 rows of black wool, so that'll be 1 and 2, and this will be 1, and that'll be 2. For the next row, do 3 black wool, 1, 2, 3, 2 blue, 3 black, 1, 2, 3. Then for the next row, do 3 blue, 1, 2, 3, then 2 white, 3 blue, 1, 2, 3. For the next row, do 1 white, 2 blue, 2 light grey, 2 blue, 1 white wool. So that is what you want to have for the Blue Ranger's helmet. And then, of course, just like with all of the others, we want to extend the back corners backwards with the blue wool. We'll connect them all together, and then once this has been taken care of, I can show you how to customize the helmets a little bit further, because the helmets are looking a little bit flat at the moment, and you might not mind it, but I'll show you how you can change it if you want to. So we also, of course, have to basically put in the little skylight, the little sunroof, into each one of these 4 heads, and I'm just going to fill this in using the black stained glass block, like this. Perfect. So that is the Blue Ranger's helmet, and that gives us each one of our 5 helmets, like that. Perfect. Now, let me show you what you can do. So, the Power Rangers, as you know, they have helmets and they have visors. By visors, I mean, you know the black bit of the helmet that's like glass that you can see out of? Well, if we... Basically, let's take the Red Ranger, for instance. If we come inside the Red Ranger's head, here, and if we take all of this black wool that is the visor of the helmet, and we add an additional layer of black behind it, like this, and then we knock out this layer of black on the outside, then we will have kind of like a little bit more detail. Because if you think about it, the visor would be roughly sat inside of the helmet a little bit. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. It's not necessary, but if you like, you can do this to each one of the 5 helmets. I personally like it, but you don't have to. Just to repeat that again, you don't have to do this, but if you do this to the helmets, you'll find that you will create a little bit more depth. It will look ever so slightly more realistic, if that's the right word to use, and it will allow you to, well, it will just look nice. It's all preference though, like you don't have to do it if you don't want to. No one's forcing you. If you like it the way it is, and I like it the way it is too, then, you know, do whatever you want. Nobody is forcing you to do anything. It does look nice though. I like it, especially with the yellow helmet. The yellow helmet I think is my favourite out of all of them. It's either that or the red helmet. When it comes to the pink helmet, do it to not only the black, but also do it to the cyan stained clay, which is on the side of the helmet as well. Or don't. It might even look cooler to have kind of like the black. Let's have a look. It might look cooler to have like the black cut out, but I don't think it will. I think it will look kind of weird. Yeah, I don't like that at all. So we've done the same thing to the cyan as well, because the cyan is just kind of like a highlight anyway. We'll do the same thing with the blue. The blue has a giant visor, so it's like helmets like this. It's the ones that have a lot more black involved that benefit from doing this, because otherwise you can get the effect where everything looks just a little bit too plain, if you know what I mean. So we want to have something which should look a little bit like that, and you can see that actually looks kind of cool. It looks nice. However, once that's been done, we can now move on to the next bit. So the next thing that we're going to do, because to do the insides of these and connect them together, this kind of has to be done. I'm going to fill in the backs of the helmet. So each side of the helmet, every single one of them, I'm going to fill them in with the colour that you would expect. So for instance, I might even leave that. No, I'm not going to leave that blank. So for instance, with the Yellow Ranger helmet, I'm going to fill the left-hand side, the right-hand side, the back in with yellow wool. For the black helmet, I'm going to fill it in with dark grey wool. For the red, I'm obviously going to fill the entire thing in with red. Same for the pink, same for the blue. So I'm going to do all of this, and then I'm going to be back, because that will actually take quite a while to do otherwise. So I'll be back in just a moment once all of that's done. You may have to pause the video afterwards and then do it for yourself and kind of like sync back up with me. And there we go. I have now filled in each one of the 5 individual helmets. That took a little while, but not too long. Not an insane amount of time. So if you yourself are still working on this, please pause the video. Once you've finished, hit play and you can continue on with me and you can sync back up. So for those of you that have finished this, we're now going to connect the heads together. So the way that we're going to do this is we have to figure out like where we are going to enter each one of the helmets. So I'm going to start all the way over here on the left hand side of the house where we have the yellow helmet, and I'm going to tunnel into the middle of the helmet. This is the very middle of the bottom of the helmet. I have a 4-block space, and I want this 4-block space to continue all the way through every single helmet that we have. So I want to be able to create a massive tunnel that will connect one helmet to the other helmet. I want to connect the yellow helmet all the way over to the blue, all in the same line. And I want to be able to exit the blue helmet out of this side as well. So now you can see that we've created it kind of looks like a little mouse house, like a little mouse hole, all the way through each one of the 5 helmets. But I don't want to be able to just kind of like walk into each individual helmet without going in one of the ends. So I'm going to take out my black stained glass block, and I'm basically going to create like glass chambers going around each one of the 5 holes. Well, it's not 5 holes, is it? It's basically like 3 holes that I've got to cover up. And I basically want to make a glass chamber that very much looks like that will allow me to walk through the yellow helmet into the black helmet, and that is without, of course, being able to just straight up like walk into any helmet that I want. Like I said, I want them to be connected together, and I don't want them to be like 5 individual houses that you can kind of like walk up to. I want them to be connected in some way. So I'm doing the same thing to the black and the red, and I'm going to do the same thing to the red and the pink, and I'll do the same thing to the pink and the blue. I guess we have to make more tunnels than I thought. What is that, 4 tunnels, 5 tunnels? I don't know. I'm terrible at math. I really am. So I'm just going to connect these together, and I want to do the same thing here. I'm going to connect the pink to the blue, and once they've all been connected, guys, once they've all been connected, we can then talk about the next bit, which is going to be, once we've connected all 5 helmets together, so what do we want to do to the insides of the helmet? So do you want them to be each individual rooms? Do you want to turn them all into like multi-purpose, like big giant rooms in houses? Do you want them to be like houses in their own right? It's kind of up to you with what you kind of do with this. But I'm going to personally be turning each helmet into a bedroom. It's just going to be like 5 bedrooms. So I want to seal up the house. I want to seal up the houses first of all. So I'm going to knock into the floor, and I'm going to make the base of the helmet on the left and the right. I'm going to make it yellow in the floor. I also want to rip up the floor that we have. I'm going to rip this floor up. So I'm going to get rid of the grass because it's not a very attractive block, really, is it? It could be a little bit better. And I want to place some block of quartz down for the flooring inside of the helmet. So I want this to be block of quartz because it's a nice, clean material. It really is. I do love block of quartz. I'm going to knock out these 2 center blocks, and I think that I'm going to place sea lanterns in the center blocks for a little bit more light. I'm going to place 2 beds, so a double bed at the back of the head, and I'm going to place a crafting table and a furnace either side, and I'm going to place chests either side of that. I think that I'm going to create like a cool feature in the floor using quartz stairs, and I'm kind of going to do like in the floor, like a layer of quartz stairs that kind of goes around these sea lanterns like this. Or I might invert it so that the sea lanterns actually get accentuated, kind of like this. Yeah, that actually looks a little bit better. Yeah, so the sea lanterns kind of get like accentuated like that. I quite like that. That looks quite nice. And that leaves plenty of room for, if I want to add additional chests into the heads, then I can of course just add some additional heads. So if I want the ender chest in here, or if I want an anvil, or if I want like another light source, maybe like a beacon, then I can add it. So that's just one room, that's one head of the house, and you can do the same thing to all of the others, or you can seal them all up. That is completely up to you. I'm going to just have a door on the side of the head here. I'm just going to have a double iron door like this, and I'm going to have, I think, probably a switch, or maybe like a lever or something that I can kind of like open up the doors if I want. Or maybe if you wanted to be a bit fancier with it, although you'd also have to add them on the inside, you could have a pressure plate to allow you to walk in and out. But that's completely up to you with whether you want to add that or not. But yeah, whatever you want to do to the inside of the houses, that's kind of like your deal. That's your business. I'm not going to tell you what to do in there. And that kind of like, that's kind of the tutorial. There's no more to it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to smack that like button. If you do like the video, please do like it. Really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. I'm going to be doing more builds like this, and I would love it if you guys could also suggest down below what else you would like to see in the future. Please, if you do subscribe, click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all of my videos sent directly to your sub box, and also say hello down in the comments if you don't have a suggestion. I'd like to say hello back to you loyal subscribers. Also, please do, if you want to see more content, and just to give you a bit of a swing around, we do all sorts of crazy stuff around here. If you do want to see more content by me, then just check out the card system in the description below for all of my playlists. I have everything nice and categorized in all sorts of different playlists, ranging from houses to theme houses.